So transition your lawn. One of my greatest frustrations is if you do political advocacy. My representative said, "Oh, nothing ever passes the first 2 years. Few things the second 2 year session, maybe in the third session, the sixth year." And I'm like, the world's on fire. We're going to wait 6 years to do this? No. So I kind of am working with an apolitical model here. 34 to 40% of all land is privately owned. And if we could work at regenerating its capability to absorb carbon, water, promote biodiversity, and grow food for people, we could change the earth without the frickin' politics. Okay, head to the next one. So this is what you were talking about. Here we go. A beautiful curated lawn. And as you mentioned, nothing can live on it because people use chemical amendments, nitrogen and phosphorus, that ultimately flow off and create blue-green algae plumes or dead zones if a lot of it runs off into the ocean or lakes. So nothing can grow there. This is not a source of biodiversity. And that's what most of them look like. Let's go on. Okay, so the story. How did lawns even come to be, right? So it used to be in England, a castle was built right in the middle of the woods, and your enemy could approach, and your enemy could cross over, and your enemy could get into your castle. No! So they, a moment of silence, they cut down all the trees immediately around the place. But then the agricultural peasants would come with their goods on market day, and they'd be up to their thighs in mud. Thus, grass. So the peasants could do their trading and buying, and so you could see the enemy coming. So here's a question for us. Do we still need to see the enemy coming? Is this a model we might be done with? Oh, and this is just a list of all the things that you have pretty much mentioned. I mean, when you see those sprinklers on all summer, it's like, guys, water is precious. The first major wars we're going to be fighting are over water. And yet you need to keep putting water on shallow roots if you want it to live. And then, of course, I mentioned this nitrogen and phosphorus. It's just horrible. And also, because of the pesticides, frogs are losing sexual identity. It's just
can't have that.
My niece studied. Her doctorate was in biology, or I forget what else, but part of her study was frogs. What was happening to the frogs?
Because all the endocrine disruptors in the chemicals we put on lawns, it flows out, especially industrial agriculture, and the little froggies lose their gonads. And you don't have more froggies that way. And then we have herbicides. What a joy. Roundup, notorious for causing follicular lymphoma. Hi, I have follicular lymphoma. I'd rather die than use Roundup, but I'm sure everyone around me does. And it was about 6 years ago, I noticed these strange little nodes in my pelvis. And I said, no one goes to a doctor if you don't want to hear bad news. But I thought, okay, have this taken care of. So we looked, I went in for a biopsy. The surgeon was so sweet. Do you remember how your mother could just call your name and you knew exactly what you wanted by how she said your name?
Yeah, sometimes in trouble. Yeah.
Right. So this doctor calls me on the phone, and in the first word I say, aha, bad news, right? And he gives me ba 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 ba. And when he's done, he's so dour and sweet. He goes, now you're going to go right back on the internet to learn more about this, aren't you? I go, of course I am. Please use reputable sites like WebMD. Nope, I'm going to drink unicorn urine in Mexico and get healed right away. And at least he laughed. He was in more misery than me.
All is well in here?
All's well that ends well. We'll see.
Yeah, on Zoom.
So, and this was really interesting because all things are connected, right? So Western medicine kind of, you're a left pinky specialist. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't tell you about your right pinky. I'm a left pinky specialist. So I just decided to go basically medicine free in dealing with this. Went to an alternative care doctor, gave me a book to read called Starving Cancer Without Starving Yourself by a woman who had stage 4 uterine cervical cancer. And she found that there are like 5 places in your body that welcome in cancer cells. And she copiously cut off every one through over-the-counter meds, things like statins that people hardly take anymore, 20 tons of green tea, but she managed it. And what you know how when you buy a Volvo, you suddenly notice how many Volvos are on the road? It's like, oh, wow, there's so many of us. In the book, she talks about how gluten and sugar feed cancer. So, knock out 90% of the gluten, 70% of the sugar. A woman who gives up ice cream just becomes mean. And there you go. And I got to sue Monsanto. They're all these are great. So there are all these class action suits, even though Bayer has bought them. If I could fuck with Monsanto, why not, right? So I joined one of the class action suits, not expecting to get much money from it, but be a pain in the ass. And it took about 5 years, a lot of paperwork, and I finally get a call. I finally get a check in the mail. It's done. We have settled up. You got $10,000. Wrong, I got $1,700. The lawyers took all the rest.
Really?
So you don't expect to make money, but you do want to be a pain. And Roundup, they still make more money selling Roundup than they do paying off all these class action suits. And you think,
In the class action suit in this case, what was it about, and was there any admission of guilt?
well, they gave us a lot of money from all the people involved. So I don't think they gave it because they were being kind.
Well, a lot of times they give it, but they won't admit any guilt.
Oh gosh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel stupid. I should go back and look at the paperwork.
If they're still selling it, then they're probably.
Right. And you say there is no morality. Everything's about money. It makes you crazy, just crazy. And because of the shallow roots, all the chemicals, nothing else can live on a manicured lawn. You're basically insect free. Great. They do a lot of work.
I've seen landscapers with 3 people in a row blowing the lawns. And I'm looking at them, they're literally blowing the dirt between the blades of grass.
Right.
Is actually what it's actually doing. And it's absolutely astonishing.
We do want it to look tidy. So ultimately, lawns provide no food, no home to animals or insect lives, no welcome to needed pollinators, and absorbs almost no carbon. So when you look at it, the energy expended by mowing, fertilizer, or watering lawns actually produce more greenhouse gases than they soak up, these traditional lawns. Okie dokie.
I hope you don't let me asking questions.
No.
I live in Needham, and I'm on we have a tree committee in Needham. What we have to do to try to preserve more trees. And I'm also the chair of the planning board. And we have a large house review committee. We're trying to reduce the size of houses, reduce the size of the footprints, which is direct related to then have, related to what happened to trees, less lawns, and so on. So it's so mind me asking questions.
No. Have you looked at Milwaukee forests?
No.
Oh, okay, we'll just.
Next.
Milwaukee, it's not here. This is something else. A Milwaukee forest can be the size, maybe this room and an extra half. It was developed by horticulturists in Japan, that's Milwaukee, and you put in fast-growing native trees, shrubs, plants. It grows 10 times faster than a traditional forest, but it cools heat islands. It brings in a lot of biodiversity. It reestablishes native trees, and communities can plan for them. I have a whole lot of information on it. If you want to give me your email, I can send it to you. So, I mean, that if you have space, and it can be in a space as small as 6 parking spaces, Milwaukee forests are wonderful. And it's also a way a community can come together, because you're saying, we're cleaning our air. We're cleaning our air, we're cooling our space. It's nothing but good news. They're not attractive, because what we consider trees, are native. So they go in. So, people who are like, it's not very attractive. No, but it does its job and communities support them. I think it's a very cool thing. I've been fighting for 2 years to get space in Lynn. And it's the psychology you were talking about. If they could use that little bit of space to put in something that will generate money, Milwaukee feels like a ridiculous option to them. They just don't get it. Okay, next slide. This is sort of a reiteration. And what happens is the earth underneath that pretty much turns to dirt. So it absorbs nothing. Everything runs off it. I can't believe we thought that was beautiful. All right, next slide. So when I was looking at this, I thought, do you both remember when you were a kid, all the fireflies in the backyard? Have you seen any lately?
Not around here.
We are losing our biodiversity. The thing is, we don't recognize it because we don't interact with a lot of those insects or species, so you don't notice it. But it is happening, and it's happening at such a serious rate. Okay, I just love it. Hello, next slide. Okay. So only 5%. I'm sorry. I want to get the statistic right because it blew me away. 0.5% of all insects hurt crops. The rest all help. So the casemaker caddyfly, that is number one. This guy cleans aquatic debris. So yucky old lakes and streams love this baby. The bees. 93% die off. 93%. No pollinators, no food, no people. So protecting them from neonics and other things becomes so important. And it's funny, again, we are so about money. If you say the bee provides thousands, hundreds, billions of dollars in ecological functioning. Yeah. It's also these are miracles. And there's so many varieties of them. In my garden, I see at least 20 by August, little ones with pointy tails and round tails and big ones. It's because it's a really, I'm a regenerative gardener, and it's a very biodiverse area. So they just, hi babies, come visit me. And they do. Where's my dung beetle? I love dung beetles. So dung beetles, yes, they take dung and they're wonderful on farms, and they roll it into a ball and they push it down into the earth. So they are primary fertilizers. Dung beetles are us.
Why don't they push it down into the earth?
Feed their babies.
Oh, that's what it is. So it's like a storage place for them. Like squirrels storing nuts or something.
Only this makes the ground really fertile. Then that's bad. You didn't see, neither of you saw the play Squirrels, did you?
No.
It was playing a couple months ago.
Play?
Yeah, it was a play.
Where was
Squirrels?
Playing?
At the Apollier Theater in Chelsea. It's a great theater. They do all sorts of interesting stuff. But it's about the red squirrels versus the gray squirrels, and all they talk about is their tree and what comes down and their nuts. And it was a bit of an allegory.
Yeah.
And then dragonflies. I'd like to bring attention to dragonflies. Dragonflies are as old as Tyrannosaurus Rex. They come from a long line and they eat mosquitoes.
Yes.
So the thing that carries Zika, yellow fever.
What do you need to Red Prius, do you?
What?
Red Prius?
No.
No? I think so.
Gray, an old gray Prius. So yeah, they eat vectors that are hazardous. Thank you, dragonfly.
What about Ford? That's Ford.
No. I think I decided not to. I do not have information here on board because I didn't write them all down.
Good.
Let's see. Walter Goodhurst, bird. Oh yeah, they feed birds, which is really nice. farmer's friend are the dung beetles. Right, and they eat what dies. And I'm sorry I don't have that. I can send the
That's
whole
okay.
thing to you.
Yeah, just curious.
Okay, next slide. So we actually, and it's funny, I don't know about you guys, my primary climate group is 350 Mass, and they're all about legislation and make polluters pay. And here's the thing, we can do these changes without them. Carbon can be absorbed by healthy soil. Okay, hit it up. I love the bug pictures. Okay.
That's an interesting thing. I've seen that one.
These are from Homegrown National Park, which is a wonderful national program. I'll explain it later. Okay, next slide. So you don't have to let it all go, but think about replanting at least half of what you have there.
How much resistant, like if you were to start like a native plant, your lawn movement, and have people tried that, and there's been a tremendous amount of resistance to it?
Well, it's interesting. What you're talking about sounds like rewilding. And when you rewild an area, you get rid of the curated grass and you grow native seeds, a lot of flowers. I mean, basically, but what you plant has to do with what you attract. So if you want birds, you're going to throw out a lot of great pollinator plants. If you want trees, but basically, it's giving the earth back to itself without us exploiting it for something.
There's some plant, I guess in my mind, my brain was actually heading towards something that doesn't grow. Well, that's not the right word. That doesn't need, you don't have to cut it, you don't have to worry about it. There's a red plant, or I can't think of the name of it now. It's basically instead of the green plant, I can't think of the name of that either. It's red.
Clover?
No, it wasn't clover. The name of it has red in it. I can't feel like that.
Red maple is a
I can't think
keystone species.
Yeah, I
in
can't
this
think of it
area.
right now. It's just a low grown plant or something.
Thyme?
Maybe time.
Thyme is great.
Maybe
it takes at least 3 years to establish
maybe
it.
it's time.
But
Maybe
you
it's time.
layer time on your.
Maybe it's time.
So
All
somebody,
right, let's whip the next. So the goal of this program is to get people to do one of these 4 things with whatever earth they have. So for instance, I've already pitched our ministerial committee in town because churches and synagogues tend to have a lot of lawn. And they also have a moral compunction to maybe do something useful, whereas individuals might not. So I'm working with them to do one of these. But I think one of the things you're talking about is naturalizing an area, which makes care for it super easy compared to maintaining a lawn. We have the turf grass. I'm growing it myself. I can tell you all about it. Or regenerative gardening, which not only absorbs carbon, absorbs water, promotes biodiversity. You can healthy food. Unfortunately, the food you get from the Midwest, from these chemically laden farms, it's interesting, RFK's crazy, but he's not insane.
Well, yeah.
I mean, this stuff he gets. I know.
Broken clock is right twice a day.
Right.
He's like that.
yeah.
I get some of his stuff.
Yeah. No. I mean, it's like pick and choose. Oh, so Elon just left the government. Does that make him a good guy? No. No. But he can say a couple of intelligent things. Yeah. So regenerative gardening is fabulous.
Let me ask you a question. This question has to do with, I think I've used for a lot of people in society. So I'm thinking some of my neighbors, they have lawns, but the kids play.
Yeah.
Kids are walking around, running around, playing. What would that be?
We are coming to it. Next slide, please. So this is not for people who have kids running around, but these are all areas that have been made native. So
Beautiful.
so these are all native plants, and they also absorb less water.
I mean, arguably, it's better for kids because if you can reattract the grasshoppers and fireflies, I mean, that's be great for kids.
And you see, they're planned. They're quite beautiful, actually. So if somebody's going for the aesthetics, you can do gorgeous things with naturalizing your area. And yeah, it saves your back. You're not down there all the time. They're
Yeah, I
beautiful.
think I'm gonna have a landscape person come in. I don't fertilize anything. Leaves and grass have never left my property.
Ta-da!
Never left my property. Everything stays. But my lawn is not exactly a manicured lawn. It's not a lawn. It's not a long lawn for the most part. But I'd like to have the full front area done something.
Yeah, there's people that specialize in native plant.
Yeah. And the document that I have in there will tell you places nearby where you can actually purchase native plants and what goes well together. And you can go on to get that. Next model. Oh, wait, that means start small. Some people go, I can't do it. I can play with some plants. Get friendly. Well, you'll see. Okay, next pop. It's interesting. People say, well, is this the better way to get energy or this or that? Everything has a negative impact except conservation. So to conserve water is such a positive thing. Okay, next slide. You want to plant, and these are keystone plants. So if you want, you can take a picture of that. It's got great listings of everything, and the document has it too.
Yeah, I recognize the name.
You both know what a keystone plant is? I just wrote a story about the future I want to see, and the mother calls her kids Beaver, Rem. Rem is for red maple. She named all her children after keystone species. Okay. And Xerxes is amazing.
So we're talking just with the chestnut. Some people are trying to
bring back the American chestnut.
Yeah, American chestnut, but there's the hybrid kind of version of it. Then there's the society in Mass where it really is the pure original chestnut tree, where they found North Carolina, South Carolina, they found a couple of chestnut trees. Not I don't know how far apart they were, but they were in the same general massive forest. And so their seeds come from that and not a hybrid version of that and something else. Is when they plant them, there's one society in Mass where it's the hybrid style. And so they plant some and they have more failure, much more failure than the original chestnut.
That was
born
and raised here, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, the Society of Massachusetts, and they're very protective of making sure that where they're planted they're doing it right. Make sure they try to bring something back in the chestnut tree. Pretty interesting.
Wonderful. I mean, the indigenous people have such a long history of using the nuts. Oh, and Xerxes is a great group, and native plants, homegrown National Parks is the organization that's basically promoting naturalization and rewilding nationwide. Amazing people. Okay, next one. And if you have room for a tree, as you're doing this reconnoitering, it is, as we say, the biggest bang for your environmental buck. And that's the red maple right in front. And they're just gorgeous. And they're native and they do wonderful things. It's so funny. I'm a Rotarian. I made my husband join with me about 18 years ago. Huh? Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So we could learn how to have conversations with conservatives. It's still an ongoing thing, but our Rotary Club, and Rotary does not get involved in politics. I mean, it's all action out of Rotarians. So we just finished a project in town that I worked on called Shade for Friends in one of our elder housings. And we put in comfortable benches facing each other to promote conversation because socially our elders, we elders are feeling isolated. So, and then 2 beautiful tulip trees that will grow 25 feet and shade the area and add wonderful dimensions to the understory. You have all these fungal connections.
The key is planting the right tree in the right place.
Right. I had a wonderful arborist helping us with this. But yeah, trees. Okay, next one. Now, here we are, your deep-rooted grasses. You can see the traditional ones. That's why you're watering them all the time. Their roots don't go anywhere. traditional grasses, boom, very, very deep rooted. So it can survive much longer droughts, it improves that water to access, and you don't mow them very much. So I planted fescue. Let's have the next slide. This is fescue. There's long fescue and short fescue. And short fescue is soft and delicious. And you can do anything on it. It's a little, it'll grow a little longer than our traditional lawns. But, I mean, you can have almost any event on it. It's sturdy. It's soft. Both are very deep rooted. I planted mine with clover. This one looks to be more pure fescue. But if you interplant some clover, it makes both roots better.
So is this a slower growing than traditional grass?
Yeah.
Does it still present the same sort of problem as a sort of a monocultural plot? I mean, it still lacks diversity to have a lawn like this.
Right, which is why I put clover in with it.
Right.
Because clover is a lovely pollinator flower. Also, the bunnies will eat it instead of
The mix.
yeah, with the seeds.
The bunnies eat this stuff?
Bunnies eat clover.
The clover, okay.
I don't know if bunnies like fescue. I don't know. We have a lot of bunnies. We need to import some fox into our neighborhood. Deal with the bunnies. And you're right, this does look like a monoculture. So there is no reason that you couldn't plant flowers, and other pollinators, but I'm assuming it is a field that they are using for sports.
Yeah.
And also when you plant those flowers, if it's a community gathering place, you're going to have a lot of bees, God willing. And people get nervous around bees. So
yeah. So
I know. And I have this great, I have snakes in my garden all the time. You see, they shed their skin. People go, snake. I said, trust me, it doesn't want to have anything to do with you more than you want to have anything to do with it. Just let it do it.
Spiders were a good thing. Snakes were a good thing.
Yeah, just don't put your hand in their web when they're there. Okay. Yeah, but this stuff is great.
That's cool.
Easy
Okay.
to grow, and because I have no experience growing turf, and I've been able to grow it. All right, next. So here's just other kinds of native grasses that work. It's funny, I don't have time up here because time really does take 3 years to actually invest. It's gorgeous. You have these beautiful purple blue flowers. It smells good, and it just keeps growing.
Now, when it says 1 foot, so in this case, we're talking about in whatever season, spring seasons.
Mhm.
So it grows and it just stops at 1 foot, and you just leave it alone. You don't do anything.
Don't mess with it. And it is happy.
Hmm.
And I love that some of these work in shade. I mean, there are a lot of them.
Does this Baltic rushgrass flower? Is it a flowering
Yes.
plant?
So again, that's not a playing field grass, but it's a great grass.
Yeah, it does. It mentions kind of the coastals.
Mm-hmm.
And when I look at the picture, it kind of has a marshy coastal type of thing.
Right, and we talked, with all the flooding, what are natural protections? And those are, reed beds, those are wetlands, those are the wonderful things that beavers make. Bless their little hearts. So cute. Okay, next one. Next. Now this is my favorite, regenerative gardening. I belong to Biodiversity for a Livable Climate. Great organization. You might love them. They do a lot of my own forest work. I've taken a zillion classes with them. This is my front yard. It kind of looks chaotic, but it's not. Things were planted very intentionally, things that would feed each other, things that drink nutrients from different levels of the earth. Everything is companion planted so that plants can help one another.
What does it mean always keep a live root soil?
Oh,
What does that mean?
because if you do not have a live root, if you just have soil, it will turn to dirt. If you don't, if you don't work, if
Always
you
have
don't,
something planted. Okay.
So here are the basic tenets, and this is great for old people. I used to live in the chiropractor's office during gardening season. It's like, Amy, sign me up for twice a week for 3 months. Because, you're digging soil. You don't dig soil with this method. You just keep layering on organic matter. And if you can afford it to start, you have someone like Black Earth, a professional composter come and dump compost in soil, and it's full of microbial structures that are just so good for your earth. And then after that, you just keep layering stuff on. You know, like at the end of the season, I clip this stuff right at earth level because the roots have all these nutrients in them. And over the winter, they start to just disintegrate, which means the nutrients in the ground instead of pulling them up and composting those separately. So I clip everything, I compost it, or I just leave it on the earth. And then some people put in cover crops. Hysterical. Have either of you done cover crops? So like rye is a brilliant cover crop. If you're a farmer, it's huge and it's deep rooted and it grows all winter. And then in the spring, if you are a humble home gardener, getting it out is living hell. You're like, when I'm going to take everything out with it. And it's too dense to layer stuff on it unless you happen to have 6 inches of soil. So I cover crop with peas. Yes. So in August or September,
Like some green giant peas, and I'm kidding, of course.
and I put pea seeds everywhere, and they grow enough to actually hold the soil during the winter. They add nitrogen to it. Yummy, yummy. And then you can clip them when the spring comes. So depending on how much land you have, you would choose your ground cover. Okay, hit the next one, because this is me in the backyard last summer. Behind me, those are, oh God, what's it called? The little round things, white. So these things, sunchokes. So these are sunchokes.
Yeah.
And at their full height, they grow these amazing sunflowery looking things. And when you pull them out, sunchoke is a root. It's delicious. And if you have any hard time with your digestive system, you want to eat sunchokes, great things. And you can see how the flowers are interplanted with the cabbage family things. I think this is my cannabis plant on the edge. I grow old lady stuff for sleep. And yeah, that's a cannabis plant. See how healthy it is? It's for sleep and pain, make tincture out of it, cookies, lots of stuff. But everything feeds each other. No monocropping.
The sun artichokes, they spread too.
Oh, do they ever?
What do they call it?
Sunchokes.
Yeah, sunchokes.
Or
Like
Jerusalem artichokes.
really tall with about a little bigger, like depending on how long it's been growing, because at least as big as your thumb thing you can eat.
So at the end of the season,
Pull them out. But you never get them all, right?
No, they're very stubborn.
so then they just grow back again automatically. It's like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like sort of like bamboo.
And they'll spread all over the place
Yeah,
too. If you
Yeah,
like.
you have to like say, I love you, you can't go here. Love you, can't go here. Always apologize when I pull them.
I think they're one of the kind of plants where they propagate under the ground, like they spread out and then they grow up.
I know, isn't it hysterical? You plant something and what are you doing 5 feet away? But yeah, you just have to keep pulling them when they get into inappropriate places or they will own it.
Just so you know, I would have smiled if I was there when you were delivering kale. I would have smiled.
Thank you. No, I mean, I couldn't believe the kind of harvest I had when I was regeneratively garden. It's just, and the food is healthy. It's not like the stuff you get from chemical fields in the Midwest. So being able to feed your community, and what I always hear from my activist community is when the shit really hits the fan, most important people are the ones you live with, your community. How they can pull together. So this also is a way of starting to support community. You know, you leave tomatoes on someone's doorstep, they like you. A strawberry pie. I mean, we're in strawberry pie season. Unfortunately, they don't grow strawberry pies. I just grow strawberries. So it's a long process to get to pie. But I make at least 25 pies a year.
What do you do to keep the boring bugs away?
Oh. So they hit mainly the squash plants, right? You can have little collars. I plant nasturtium and marigolds near them, and also radishes.
Okay.
And a little bit of tobacco around them. Now, here's the thing. the vine borers always get them eventually.
Mhm.
I mean, you're trying to pull a vine borer out of line. Have you ever done that?
I think I found one once, but yeah.
Yeah, but they're brutal and they kill your plants. So here's the thing: you just create really healthy plants, get them as big as they can. They can survive with a couple borers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if anybody ever wants to come check out my garden, I live in Marblehead, Massachusetts.
Felt like I lost a loved one. Beautiful, beautiful squash. Beautiful one day. Actually gorgeous. Literally the next day or a couple days later, gone. Was gone. Just down.
Oh, they're
Just down.
brutal.
Yeah, it was
Squash vine borers. What do you companion plant with your squash?
I'm not a big gardener.
Uh,
I'll plant some tomatoes, I'll plant some squash. That's what I do.
okay, so like for instance, tomatoes love parsley and basil, and that helps keep, and marigolds. So you plant those among your tomatoes, and that keeps off a lot of the insects. And then the things I just mentioned, nasturtium, marigolds, and the radish. Those bugs do not like those things. So, it is a constant, I hate to use the term war, but negotiation. It is a constant negotiation with the natural world. And then you give them some. Like a bunch of squirrels and birds always get some of my blueberries and strawberries. I go, these are for you guys, don't take mine. All right, next one. And this is the last one, rewilding. And rewilding is awesome, but not if you're obsessive compulsive. It would cause you much anxiety. So there's somebody who's rewilded their lawn in my town, and it's right on a main street. And I love watching different things grow at different times of the season, and it really looks more like a park. And I have a friend who works at a garden center and has a garden club, and she thinks it's disgusting. If you need if you need rigor, but
You need order.
But rewilding is fabulous. And I mentioned you just throw out the seeds of whatever you want that will love whatever you want to attract. So in a way you work backwards. You go, I want pollinators. You pop out all pollinator seeds. And if you're nervous about it, try a small space. Just 4x4. The best time to take out your lawn is in the fall. Just lay down the newspaper or cardboard, ground it with rocks, and in the spring, bingo! It is earth. Because you have to dig it out, it's miserable. So wait till fall. Okay, next one. Oh, and this is basically what I just said. Who do you want to attract? What's the condition of your soil? Native trees is the best. And here's another way to find plants. And embrace mistakes. So who of us has not ever accidentally planted an invasive when something says good ground cover in shade? You go, oh my God, yes, I need good ground cover in shade. And then just like the sun chokes, it doesn't stop. So you go, okay, I'm going to be pulling these for a while. You live, you learn. Okay, next slide. And this is what our lands can look like instead of grass.
They often say that like the prairies they weren't like big lawns, they were like big meadows.
Right. And that's what rewilding is.
Yeah, they're very, very diverse, like with flowers, all kinds of different plants.
The bison like to nibble on.
Right.
And everything is food chain. You feed the insects feed the birds, It's interesting when he talked about people issues versus the earth issues. New Zealand gave personhood to a mountain. It said nature is its own entity. You can't treat it as a resource. We have to treat it as an equal entity. Okay, next slide. I think it might be the last. Yeah, what can one person do? You can do a bloody lot. Not to say we shouldn't all be out on June 4th, Flag Day, screaming about our federal government, but
June 14th.
Yeah, 14th. Yeah. And that is that. We are finished. Ta-da!